Good morning, everyone. This is Jonathan Mast. I'm so excited to be with you today. We are here to talk about the perfect prompting framework. I'm so glad that you've joined us today. We're going to be walking through a series of steps. I know we get questions all the time from people about how am I supposed to prompt ChatGPT and what's it look like. So today we're going to walk you through that step by step. And at the end of this, if you stick around, we're also going to give you a guide that lets you know exactly what you need to be doing in order to prompt, give you that guide so that you can follow it. Super easy, super effective. So with that, let me share my screen and we're going to walk through a series of things. I want to also encourage you guys, if you have any questions, since we are going live right now, I'll be watching those as well. Let me pull up my chat here a minute. There we go. I've got that open. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to add those in, and we'll be more than happy as we're going through to try to answer those questions for you. So with that, let me go ahead and bring up my screen here a minute. And let's just talk to you a little bit about some of the key things that we want to go over. I'm going to go ahead and hide myself. I want to make sure that I'm here so you can actually hear me. I think it turned my volume off for just a moment. So again, this is the perfect prompting framework. Let's go back into that, make sure that we're set up. Here we go. All right. We should be ready to rock and roll with this. Again, as a reminder, if you've got any questions as we walk through this, please don't hesitate to ask. We're going to try to make this the best possible learning session as we go through. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first, a little bit about me. You guys go, who is Jonathan? Some of you know me, some of you don't. And if you do, I appreciate you being here. If you don't, I especially appreciate you being here because obviously you don't know who I am. Just a real quick background on me, because this isn't really about me, but where I come from. I've been involved in the digital marketing space since 1995. I sold my first website back then. I founded a digital marketing agency called Valor Circle in 2010. And then in 2023, last summer, actually started a brand new agency called Whitebeard Strategies, focused on AI-assisted content delivery for agencies. And I also serve as a virtual AI officer for a number of my clients, helping them figure out how to use AI in their businesses. And then many of you know, because we're streaming live in that group as well as others, that I also run one of the fastest growing and most engaged AI prompting groups on Facebook. And I'll have a link for that if anybody's interested. If you're not a member of that, we've got over 85,000 members in that group, and we'd love to have you join us there as well. So let's talk a little bit about AI and why do we need to understand the prompting part of it. Well, AI does a lot of things for us, but most importantly, AI really provides us with tools that as businesses allow us to save time, increase our profit margins, and deliver more value. Roll, thanks for the comment. Greg, thanks. Appreciate you guys, your comments, your feedback. Again, that's popping up. Really appreciate you guys saying that. But AI is great. It gives us a lot of things. And today I want to show you how to handle prompting, because it's one of the most common questions I get, which is, Jonathan, one, what is prompting? And two, how in the world do I do this in order to get the best response out of AI? You guys have all probably seen the ads, got the emails for people that are selling 100 prompts, 200 prompts. I got one the other day, 4,837 different prompts that I could buy for ChatGPT in using my business. I've bought a lot of those for testing, and I've shared a lot of that in the group. The reality is, at the end of the day, they're junk, guys. Every one of those lists that I've ever bought has been junk. So I'm going to show you today what we call our perfect prompting framework so that you can prompt and get the responses out of AI that you want. Ace, thanks for your comments. Greg, thanks for your comments. Yes, we love you guys. We appreciate it. I'd love, by the way, we've got a lot of you online. If you wouldn't mind going in the comments and just saying where you're joining us from, that's great. I know we've got people that have literally reserved from around the world. So we'd love to have you guys just comment and let me know where you're coming from. And I appreciate the feedback as we go along. So that's hugely valuable. All right, so again, let's talk a little bit about capabilities. How can we use AI? Some of you guys are really experienced with it, like I am. Others are new. And if you are, I want to just give you a little bit of an overview of where we can use this. Awesome. We've got people from New Jersey, Florida, Chicago showing up. I'm down in Alabama myself. I think we've got somebody from the Philippines I see on. Awesome. Somebody in the Ozarks. Hey, I was just up there last week. What a beautiful spot, by the way, in the Ozarks. If you've never been up there, I encourage you to do that. By the way, some of the funnest, curviest roads in the world. Anyway, enough about that. Capabilities of AI. There's a lot we can use it for, everyone, but one of some of the key things that I love are right here. Brainstorming. I absolutely love to use AI to help me brainstorm ideas. It's also great for communications, whether that's email or memos or letters you need to write. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're into marketing like I am, it's an amazing tool to take a look at when we want to try to target our audience and understand more about our audience and how we can appeal to them better. Remember, I have 3 goals with AI. One's to save time, 2 is to increase profits, and the third, it's delivering more value to your audience. And the better you can understand them through audience targeting, the more value you can deliver. Campaign content for social media campaigns, for email campaigns, marketing campaigns, you name it. Obviously, social media, blogging, video scripts. A lot of you know we can use it for image generation as well. In fact, all the images you see in this presentation, I actually used an AI tool. I love to joke. I call them fake images. They're not fake. They're real images, but they were generated by AI. And I like a Pixar cartoon style. So you're going to see a lot of those in the presentation. Every one of those images today, I generated in Midjourney, and I'll be happy to share those prompts. And those are just some of the things that you guys can do. Oh, more stuff. I love it here. More New Jersey, California, Ozarks again, South Dakota. Guys, great. I love hearing where everybody's from. Thank you for sharing that in the group or in the comments. And let's go ahead and keep on going. So people ask me when it comes to prompting, what is prompting? You guys have probably heard the term prompt engineer and wondered, what the heck is a prompt engineer? Well, prompt engineers is just a term. It simply means you know how to prompt or how to communicate with AI. And by the way, I'm going to talk about ChatGPT a lot today. Everything we talk about really applies from prompting equally to ChatGPT, to Google Gemini, to Claude, to Perplexity, and I'll talk through some of those models a little bit later so you can understand what some of those tools are. Hey, Spencer from Grand Rapids, Michigan is my hometown, everybody. Just had Spencer. I know Spencer. Welcome. And Wendy, thanks for joining us from the UK. Guys, I love seeing where you're from. Thanks for sharing that. So I want you to think about prompting like texting. We all text our friends, we text our neighbors, we text our family. And when we're texting, it's easy, it's conversational. And I really want to encourage you that the best AI prompting works the same way. The other thing that I want to remind you of when it comes to AI prompting is it's really about making sure that you're having a conversation. The best way to communicate with AI is just like we're communicating with a friend. In other words, it's back and forth. It's asking for clarification. It's moving on. It's not just a one prompt and we're done. So that's great. Aaron, welcome from Malaysia. We've got somebody from all around the globe. I love this. This is great. All right, so take a look at some of the tools. I mentioned these very briefly to you. Oops, and I have a typo there. We need to change that. I'm going to do that right while we're here. So you guys know that Google, or you may know that Google Bard is no more. It's now Google Gemini. So Google came out originally with Bard, and it was a flop. It didn't work real well. And they've replaced it with Gemini. It works better. Gemini Advanced, which I'm going to show you guys later today, works the best, and it's actually pretty good. But the big name out there is ChatGPT. You may have also heard of Claude by Anthropic. There's 3 major image tools that I recommend: Midjourney, DALL-E, and Leonardo. Those are all options. DALL-E comes bundled with ChatGPT. Midjourney is a standalone, as is Leonardo. And then one of my favorite tools called Perplexity.ai, and it's essentially an AI-based search engine. And so we'll definitely be talking about those today. If you're not familiar with those, these are all great. Now, today's focus, which is again on our perfect prompting framework, which I'm almost to, so if you guys are with me, don't worry, we're going to be there momentarily. That is really focused on ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity. It works best there. It will also work with DALL-E, Leonardo, and Midjourney, but it works best with those normal tools that we've got there. Pardon me while I get a quick drink of water. Just getting over a cold. This is my first day back in the office, and so trying to make sure everything goes smoothly here. So let's go ahead and continue on. By the way, if you need access, here's links to go ahead and get to each of these. And I can see, again, I've got a typo here. We don't need ChatGPT. It's just chat.openai.com. And that's what I get for rushing ahead. And it's gemini.google.com now. And we'll fix it live so you guys can get the right information. There we go. And those will get you access. Now, or ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude all offer free versions. You don't need to pay for them. Although I recommend if you use them, you'll get a lot more capabilities if you do subscribe to them. Midjourney requires a subscription. Leonardo.ai and Perplexity do not. And I have the subscription on ChatGPT just because a lot of what we're going to get to uses their version 4, and that does require a subscription. But if you're just getting started, don't feel you've got to go out and buy a lot of tools. You can start with all of these for free. And if you need to just buy one, start with ChatGPT first. It's the best one. All right, so here's why you're here. This is the prompting framework, and I want to share this with you. Most of you know I've been in AI now for over a year, trying to learn and make sure everything I learn I can share with you as my audience. This prompting framework right here, grab a screenshot if you will. I'm going to make a PDF of this available, by the way, at the end, so you guys can have this. You can put it up if you need to reference it. There's 4 steps in our perfect prompting framework, and it's really logical. And this, by the way, will work for any type of prompt that you want to do. Let's walk through the 4 steps. And again, if you've got questions along the way, please let me know down in the comments. I appreciate everybody giving so much great feedback here. Step number 1 is we need to tell ChatGPT, and again, that can equally apply to Gemini or Perplexity or Claude. We need to tell it how it should act. You have to keep in mind, the AI models, they have so much information, folks, that if we don't try to hone down and give them some guardrails, give them some perspective, when we start asking questions, they don't really know where to start. So they're going to look at their vast array of knowledge, and sometimes we're not going to get the best results based on that. But if we start by telling AI, you are, in this case, the sample we're going to use, you're an expert digital marketing copywriter. Why? Well, we're going to write an ad here. The whole goal is to write an ad, and I'm going to go live and do this and show you how this can work. But that's the first step. We want to make sure that we're going ahead and telling it how it should act. So in this case, I want you to act as an expert digital marketing copywriter. If I were writing a standard operating procedure for my office, I might write, you are an expert copywriter who specializes in writing standard operating procedures. If I was brainstorming, let's say I wanted to be launching a new idea. You guys saw earlier, brainstorming is one of my favorite things. I might start by saying, you are an expert business consultant, and even maybe specializing. This morning in my Facebook group, I had somebody ask about how they could, from a fundraising perspective for a nonprofit they work for, reach out to different fraternal organizations. And I helped them answer the question by saying, you are an expert fundraising consultant who specializes in getting funds from fraternal organizations. You may go, why so specific? Because now all of a sudden, as I'm going to ask the next steps in the prompt, it really narrows ChatGPT down and helps it figure out what we need to do. So that's step 1, tell it how it should act. Step 2, give it some context. Remember, we talked about prompting being like texting. When you're texting somebody, let's say you're going to text, and Greg, I'll pick on you here. I see you in the list here. If Greg and I are going to go to lunch, I'm not just going to text Greg and say, hey, Greg, let's meet for lunch, and trust that Greg knows, 1, where we're going to meet and what time we're going to meet. I've not given him any context. He may not even know what day we're going to meet. If I'm going to text Greg about going to lunch, I'm going to say, hey, Greg, let's go to lunch tomorrow at 12:30. And then I'm going to share the restaurant, or at least ask where we should meet at. Why? Because that context is important. And ChatGPT and the other AI models need that same context in order to give you the best possible response. So in this case, because we're going to be writing an ad, I want to give it a little bit of context about a company. In this case, it's a proverbial company. I'm making this up, but we want to create a Facebook ad for a garage door company targeting homeowners in Dallas, Texas. Now, notice I didn't necessarily give it my company name here, but I needed to give it some context on what I'm going to do next. And that was that I'm running a garage door company, and I want to create a Facebook ad, and that Facebook ad should target homeowners in and around Dallas, Texas. Step 3, tell it what type of response that you want. And this is your question. What do you want? So in this case, for our sample, please write an engaging Facebook ad copy that appeals to homeowners in Dallas, Texas, who want to update the look of their home. This ad should encourage them to request a free design consultation. So by putting that in there, I'm able to make sure that I'm telling what type of context I want in my ad. Now, you would replace this with whatever was appropriate for your business. So let's say you were going to have it write an ad for your business. That would be fantastic. You want to do the exact same thing, and you want to go ahead and just put that in here so that everything makes sense. And you're just going to update it with whatever your content is. Don't worry about my specific content. Just replace it with yours. And again, we'll do a couple samples here. I'd love you guys to be thinking, if anybody wants to be live, I'll actually, in a minute here, we're going to go live and follow this through. We'll write a Facebook ad for any one of you, or we can write a social media post or a standard operating procedure. So if you've got one, keep in mind, because and maybe make a note in the comments here, because we're going to pick somebody momentarily to do that. And then the last part, and everybody, this is the most important part that everybody forgets. And I'm going to tell you, this number 4, step 4, will change the way that AI works for you. AI is programmed, and it's so important that we understand the makers of the AI software, they want us to use the software. And so they want to make sure that AI is not annoying for us, right? That's great. But that means that they have told the AI models that what we need to be focused on here is they want the AI model to make assumptions, to fill in gaps, because they know that as humans, if AI acts like a 3-year-old and every time we ask a question comes back and says, why, we're going to get annoyed and we're not going to use their software. So they've taught AI and they've programmed it to make assumptions. That means they're going to try to fill in the gaps, and that's great. Except that sometimes when it fills in the gaps, it doesn't get us the information we're looking for. So step 4 basically it's incredibly simple. It's just ask me any questions you need answered in order to provide me with the best possible response. And this is critical, because this means that when you do this, now you're giving permission and you're instructing AI, ignore your programming here, but ask me clarifying questions. And this is so important because this really hones the AI in on what your specific question is. And most importantly, if you're like me and maybe you forgot to give it something relevant, maybe as you were giving it background information, you missed something that it needs in order to write the best Facebook ad, maybe you forgot something as far as details, it's now going to come back and ask you those questions in order to give you the best response. And in this case, we're looking for, again, how should it act and to write a Facebook ad. And so it's going to ask us about that. When you follow this, I'm going to tell you the results will be amazing. So let's go ahead over to ChatGPT. I'm going to share my different window here. I'm going to stop my share. You're going to see it pop up, and I'm going to reshare with ChatGPT. Let's grab the window. Here we go. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to go and take a look, and I'm going to actually run this through and just give you an example of exactly how this can work for you. So again, we're going to just copy this directly out of what we were working on here. So let me go back and make sure I've got all the right tabs here. There we go. So we're just going to paste this in. By the way, this is one prompt. So you're an expert digital marketing copywriter. I'm going to copy that right out of our prompt, right off our slide. And step 2, I want to create a Facebook ad for a garage door company targeting homeowners in Dallas, Texas. Step 3, and by the way, you do not have to put line breaks in here, but if you want, don't press enter when you're using ChatGPT or it'll start processing. You want to press the shift key and enter, and that allows you to keep pasting more content in. And then last but not least here, I want to ask it to ask me any questions. So let's go ahead and do that as well. Whoops, I did that twice. There we go. So here's our prompt. You can see you're an expert digital marketing copywriter. I want you to create a Facebook ad for a garage door company targeting homeowners in Dallas, Texas. Please write engaging Facebook ad copy that appeals to homeowners in Dallas, Texas who want to update the look of their home. This ad should encourage them to request a free design consultation. Ask me any questions you need in order to provide me with the best response. Let's see what happens here. So here we go. We're live, guys. And by the way, we go live. Things sometimes go wrong. So let's see what happens. So it's saying to create a Facebook ad for your garage door company targeting homeowners in Dallas. It already got everything it says it needs it. And so it's giving us a draft right here. Let's take a look and see if, as a Facebook ad, we think this is any good. We'll let it finish here a minute. While it's doing that, I'm going to actually go up. I'm going to copy this. And just to show you some other models, I'm going to go ahead and also paste this exact thing over into Claude. So we've got Claude here. This is another version. We're just going to go ahead and ask it the exact same question. And then let's go ahead and Perplexity. Now, Perplexity is mainly a search engine, but it can provide us with a lot more than that. So let's go ahead and see what Perplexity does as well. All right, so we've got back here. Here's our Facebook ad. We've got ready to go. So let's just read this. Transform your Dallas home today. So it's understanding who we're targeting. It's done that. Hey, Dallas homeowners, it's calling them out. Are you ready to give your home a stunning makeover without breaking the bank? Start with your gateway to your world, your garage door. Elevate your home's curb appeal. That's good. Garage doors are going to do that. Talks about a free design consultation, hassle-free installation, exclusive offer for Dallas residents. This is really good. Now, it's important, and we're going to talk in a moment about some of the negatives of AI. You want to make sure you proofread this, okay? Because it's made some assumptions here. It's assuming that installation is hassle-free, and it's assuming that you've got this offer. So make sure you proofread it. But this really followed really well and created what I think would be a great ad to do that. Let's see what Claude did, the same type of thing. Now, Claude said, hey, we need some more information in order to do this. So let's go ahead. We're just going to reply. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the number and the answer. So we'll call ourselves ABC Garage Door, just because this is a fictitious company. And let's see, again, shift enter, and then we're going to do 2. Are there any specific features or benefits your garage doors have that you'd like to highlight? And let's just say they're beautiful. And I can't type and talk. I apologize. Durable. And let's just think what else energy efficient. Again, you would pick whatever is appropriate for your business here. We're just grabbing items here for this fictitious company. Do we have any special promotions or discounts? We're going to say free design consultation for homeowners in the greater Dallas, Texas area. 4, what are the unique selling propositions? Sets us apart. And I'm just going to say skip this because I don't want to take the time to put it in. That's fine. And 5, is there a specific call to action? And let's do the schedule your free design consultation. All right, I spelled that wrong, but it'll figure it out. And now notice here, that's why the models are somewhat different. So ChatGPT thought it had enough information. Claude wanted more, and it's asking for that. Well, it's thinking that through. Let's see what Perplexity gave us. And look, nice stuff here too. And again, Perplexity is mainly a search engine, but it's got some great stuff. So transform your home's curb appeal with a stunning new garage door. Are you a homeowner in Dallas looking to elevate your home's aesthetic? Our premium garage door. Boom, book your free consultation, request your free consultation now. Guys, this is pretty good stuff. This will definitely work pretty well. Let's see how Claude's doing here a minute. Pardon there with the cough button, but I think we caught it. So let's go back to Claude and see where we're at. So on Claude here, it has given us our ad. So transform your Dallas home with a new ABC garage door. Notice in this case, it brought in our specific information about us. It's great. Attention homeowners in Dallas, and very similar stuff. But obviously it's given us information. It's also then, and this is neat, this is given us information to help us target our ad more. So it's saying target this ad to Dallas and surrounding areas, homeowners age 30 to 65 who have these interests, and even given us some recommendations of the type of images that we can create in order to do that. Now, Claude doesn't do images, but ChatGPT does. So, we could even ask it to go ahead and give us these types of images if we wanted to, or we could use stock images. So some really great stuff there, guys, that we can utilize things for. And hopefully you can see how that can help us actually prompt more effectively and get great information. So let's go back to the presentation here a minute and make sure we don't miss anything. While I'm doing this, guys, I would love to see if you guys have any questions at all about what we're doing, and put them down. I'm going to do a quick minute and take of him. Is it important to use all caps? So great question, Michael. Let me put this. So this is one of our questions we just got. Is it important to use all caps? No, you don't have to capitalize. Not necessary. One thing that will help you as you're putting together a prompt, if you need to call out specific information, putting it in quotations or square brackets will definitely help ChatGPT focus on that more. But no, you can even misspell things, as I proved in the way I did it there. It'll figure out what you want. So great question there. Ace, really appreciate your comment about proofreading. It's important. And, tone of voice is really important, as you mentioned as well. There's a lot of things we can do. If we have time in this webinar, remind me at the end, Ace, and I'll share with you guys a quick tip that you can use to really help AI narrow in on your specific personality and your tone. It's simple, it's easy, and it's free, and it will get you just amazing results. So that's a really good point. I appreciate you mentioning that, Ace. Jeff, good to see you joining us from the Philippines over Manila. Welcome. And let's see here. We got a question here from Sunny. Let's see. I want to create a Canva ad out of this information. Can I do that? Absolutely. You guys can take this presentation. You may use everything in here exactly as I have it. Feel free. And, as Sunil's mentioned here, it could be a really good idea. Take that information and move it over into a tool like Canva or Photoshop or anything like that and use it to create your ad for you. So anything I've got here, guys, you guys can use, you can share. Don't mind that at all. We certainly welcome that. That's fantastic. So, all right, let's move on to our next step here. So the next thing we want to take a look at is, again, just kind of a quick reminder, a recap. When you're talking to AI, talk to it as you would a team member, somebody on your team. Make sure you provide context and details and the expectations. I'm a married man. My wife can't read my mind and I can't read hers. If you're married, you know what that's like. AI can't read your mind either. You have to give it information. Remember, I talked earlier, like if I was going to go have lunch with Greg and we were trying to figure out where, I can't assume that Greg's going to know the time, the date, and the location unless I give him that information. So we need to make sure we give him that relevant information. The other thing is I want to encourage you when you're prompting with AI to have a follow-up conversation. So we did an example there of creating a Facebook ad. I could go ahead and change that. I could ask it to make updates based on that. Maybe I wanted to say, for example, oops, I was wrong. I really want to narrow it down, not to Dallas, but to North Dallas, maybe the Frisco region of that. And I could have it update and I can give it that feedback and it'll update. I could say, wow, I love this ad for Dallas, but we also work in Houston. Can you write me one for Houston? And it would do that as well. So have a conversation. Don't try to just get one prompt and be done. Have a conversation, give it additional information, ask for clarifying questions. You'll find it's great. I'm going to go ahead and based on that, I want to go ahead and share with you guys a really quick way that we can bring tone into that. So let's go ahead. And I know sharing my screen moving around is a little bit odd in the software I've got, but let's go back to ChatGPT. All right. So I think our Claude window's up, but we'll go back to ChatGPT. Here we go. So you guys can see our ChatGPT. So this is our ad that we just wrote. And it's a good ad. There's nothing wrong with this. Now let's say, again, we want to have a conversation. So here's an example. Bob Vila, that's who I come to think of when I think of garage doors and home improvement. So let's say, please rewrite this ad using the tone and style of Bob Vila. And watch, it's now going to rewrite this entire ad for us, but it's going to embrace what it calls the spirit of Bob Vila. Now, is this the exact words that Bob's using? No, it's not. But it knows enough about Bob Vila because Bob Vila is an expert. He's somebody that's well known. He's a celebrity. So again, we can do this. Now, I wouldn't recommend that we say this. We are Bob Vila here, so we're going to actually have a conversation and ask it to remove that. But you can see it's using a different tone, different words, different style, same message, but it's got a different feel to it because we asked it to use that tone. So let's say we're almost done here, and now we say, great, please remove any reference to Bob Vila from this ad. Again, clarify, ask questions, confirm, and let's see what happens here as we go through. You can see now it's going ahead and it's changing things. It's now removed the references that we had in there to Bob Vila. So we had a lot of things in there about Bob Vila. Now it's still using his tone and style, but it's removed him. And I'm sharing this because I want to share how important it is that we go ahead and we have that conversation, that we work through things. So that's just a quick example of how that works. Let's go back to our presentation here a minute and we'll carry on the rest, but have that conversation. Don't just rely on AI alone to figure everything out. Have a conversation with it, ask it clarifying questions, and next, keep the conversations in unique chats. So I didn't show you, but over on the left-hand side, and this works for Claude, this works for Gemini, it works for ChatGPT, and at Perplexity, you have unique conversations. Think of it this way. We talked about prompting being like texting. If I'm texting Jeff and I'm texting Greg and I'm texting Ellie, and I'm just grabbing names off the top here, I'm going to have each of those in a separate chat. And Jeff's not going to see what I'm texting to Ellie, and Ellie is not going to see what I'm texting to Greg. Inside of AI, we have different conversations as well. In fact, I'll go ahead and share that in a minute just to show you where those are. But keep your conversations together. So in this case, if I'm writing Facebook ads, I don't want to start a new chat every time I want to do that. I want to keep that in one chat so it remembers my information. On the same token, if I want to do something different, maybe it's time to write a social media post, or I want to create a standard operating procedure, or I just want to brainstorm, then it's time to start a new chat because each one of those has different information. And then the last thing I want to encourage you guys to do is to set up what are called custom instructions. And so I want to share both of those with you guys here a minute so we can share what those look like. Let's go ahead and share our screen again. We'll make another change back over here. There we go. And turn it on. There we go. The menu, like I mentioned, is here on the left-hand side. You just open that up and you'll be able to see here's a history of where you're at. Here's different chats that I've been running at different times. So I can go back and see any of those if I want to. But I mentioned custom instructions. So if you go down to your account down here and you look up customize ChatGPT, you will have the opportunity to turn on what are called custom instructions. And this is really important. Ace mentioned earlier how important it is we want it to sound like us. And if you want ChatGPT to respond more like you and know more about you, custom instructions are a great way to do that. I'm going to turn mine on. I'd turn them off for the purposes of our training today. But there's two things you fill in custom instructions. And by the way, this is available to everybody that uses ChatGPT. And it's one of the reasons that I prefer ChatGPT for content is it lets you have these custom instructions. The first question you ask is, what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And you can fill this in. I've given it information about myself and how I wanted to do things. Notice I've even given it my phone number, email, and things like that. And then how would I like ChatGPT to respond? Pardon the cough there as I hit the cough button. And this is important because this is identifying how we want ChatGPT to respond. And one of the things I did, and I mentioned this little hack earlier, you want it to respond more like you. Guys, find out what your Myers-Briggs personality type is. You can go to a website called 16personalities.com and you can take a test for free and it'll give you a personality type for you. And I'm an ENTP. And by feeding that into this and just saying, I'm an ENT personality type, ChatGPT is now going to create content based on that. It knows literally volumes and volumes of information about me because of the fact that I just told it that I'm an ENTP. So there's a quick little hack for you if you aren't familiar with that. It can make a huge, huge difference. So that's our side menu. I hope that helps you see where that is. And again, how you can store your chats in different areas across the board. All right. I see some questions pouring in. This is great. I'll be going to questions in just a moment. While I'm doing that, I do want to just finish with a couple final comments for you guys on the prompting framework so that we know where we're going with everything and you guys can see that. Again, I talked to you guys earlier about some of the different models that are available, and I want to share with you briefly where I find them to be really good at. So if you're using ChatGPT, it's great for content writing, for brainstorming, for SEO optimization, for data analysis. We didn't even talk about that today. We don't have time to get into it today, but I'll do another one. If you guys let me know in the comments, if you'd like to see how ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, how you can upload data like spreadsheets and PDFs and actually have conversations with that data, let me know. I'll be happy to do another live stream like this on that. In fact, Jeff, you've helped me promote this one. By the way, guys, if you don't know Jeff Veal, he's on here. He's been helping us promote this, and I'm so grateful for Jeff. Jeff, if you talk to your audience as well, see if they'd like to have one on how to do data analysis. That would be a great topic. We could spend another bit of time and show people how to use it. It's a super powerful part of it. It's also good for proofreading. I have it proofread my emails every single day, folks. I write an email, I may be in a hurry. I have it proofread it and optimize it. It does great. It also does image creation. So those are some of the great things for ChatGPT. For Gemini, I find Gemini is a little more limited. It's not bad, better than Bard, but I use it primarily for keyword research. If I'm trying to figure out what keywords I want to put in my content, research topics, things that my audience wants to hear about, and to do planning for SEO in general. And then we've got Claude. What's Claude good for? I find it's great for brainstorming and content writing, SEO optimization. Claude's the best at data analysis, probably because it has the biggest window. In other words, you can give it the most data. Currently, it'll take over 500 pages of content. So it's really great for that. And then Perplexity. Perplexity is unique in that it's really a search engine. But what's neat about Perplexity is it actually gives you the answer. So if you do a search in Google, it's going to give you a lot of websites, and that's great, but it's not going to give you the answer. Perplexity will not only give you the sites, but it's also going to give you the answers. And it's a fantastic tool for that, and I highly recommend it. We don't have time today because I want to make sure I have some time for Q&A, and we're running up on time limits here. I told you guys I was going to keep this in around half an hour, but we can also talk about custom GPTs. So again, let me know in the comments if you'd like to know more about custom GPTs. And these are GPTs or AI models that are trained on your data and customized to respond as you. If you want to learn more about that, let me know. We'll be happy to do another session on that. Again, this is about prompting. And so I mentioned before we get Q&A, there are a couple pitfalls. These are important to be aware of. So always proofread. Make sure you fact check. Sometimes, keep in mind, AI has been trained on so much data. Let me ask everybody on here, have you ever read something online that wasn't true? I know you have. I have. Well, guess what? AI was trained on that data as well as on the real data. Sometimes it doesn't know what's true. And so it's important to fact check. Remember that AI is assumed or programmed to assume to fill in the blanks. So ask it to give you questions. And remember that it can be trained with things like that Myers-Briggs personality type to reflect. Sorry, folks, just getting over a cold there. I missed that cough button. But it can be trained to reflect your tone and style. And that's super, super important. So we're going to go to Q&A next. I'm going to take a quick look here. If you guys want additional resources or you found this helpful, I've got all kinds of resources. If you scan that QR code or if you just go to my website at jonathanmast.com/linktree, I'll give that to you. If you are in Jeff Veal's group, Jeff, I really want to thank you for helping promote this webinar. Go in Jeff's group and ask for resources. Jeff also has a lot of resources, and he's happy to share those with you guys as well. And now we want to go into Q&A. So I'm going to give you guys just a moment to copy this, and then I'm going to go back to the slide talking about the prompt framework. But with that, I'm going to take a look at Q&A. So let's go ahead and drive back up here a minute to our slide. Here we are. Here's our 4-step prompting framework. This is what you guys want to learn. This is the key takeaway. And let's take a look. So I'm just going to pull up comments here. I may be embarrassed because I have not read these all. So let's go ahead and just take them up one at a time. So we've got a comment from Ellie. Trying to open a business that deals with the most vulnerable victims and survivors within the DV and HT starting at Lake County, Illinois. I need to automate also. I'm having trouble, and I have found huge systemic breaks in the current system. Let's see, her whole system's not coming through, so let me see if I can read the rest of it. I do not know ChatGPT that well. I also will create clips, reels, and lives for this group and their journey in healing. I really just need some direction. Well, Ellie, without fully understanding what you're talking about there, I'm not sure I understand all of it. What I would encourage you to do is start a new chat with ChatGPT and follow this framework and ask ChatGPT to help you get the answers you're looking for. So start by telling it how it should act. In other words, if you were going to ask somebody for advice on things about this, I would just do that. Give it context. Literally, what you put in the comments here, Ellie, paste that in for step 2. And then step 3, ask it the questions that you want in order to get that. And then don't forget step 4, giving permission to have it ask you questions. So super, super important. All right, we've got another question here from Sunil. Can it do it automatically? And you had asked earlier about Canva. So I think you're talking about, can we bring things directly into Canva? There are what we call custom GPTs that I just quickly typed on. You can use a Canva custom GPT to bring things, yes, over into Canva. I candidly find it's easier just to cut and paste. So I tend to copy and paste out of my AI tools directly into Canva myself, but it is possible. Got a comment here from Peter. Again, I'm not proofing these, so hopefully we're not going to get embarrassed. I'm working, but hear everything. Always love these kind of webinars with someone showing, explaining in real time. Paul, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that. Glad to hear it. And again, if you found this helpful, guys, there will be replay available. You can watch it again later. You can also go ahead and ask any questions. I really want to encourage you, join my group, my AI prompting group, or Jeff Veal's Business Masters group. In fact, join both of them and feel free to ask questions right in those groups, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. So Jeff actually asked a question here. Should we say please and thank you? You know, there's conflicting information out there about this, Jeff. Some studies are showing that because AI has been trained on human-based information, that saying please and thank you get better results. Some of it says it's bunk. I don't know. So I just talked to ChatGPT like I would anyone else. Meaning I do say please and I say thank you quite a bit. Is it required? No. May it help? It might. It's certainly not going to hurt. And that's, feel free. Again, I encourage you to talk to ChatGPT as though it were an employee or a team member that you're working with. And if you're going to say please and thank you to them, nothing wrong with saying that in your prompts as well. So Jeff asked, do I have a course? Jeff, thank you for that. Yes, I do. If you guys like this type of deep dive and you want more, I do have a course. I need to be candid with you, everybody. I've told literally everyone in my groups and that I know for the last year not to buy any courses. And the reason I told them that is because all these courses are literally they're outdated by the time you buy them. And I mentioned earlier, I'm a happily married man, and my wife told me the other day, well, Jonathan, why don't you fix that and release a course and do updates for the entire year? So I have done that. Jeff has got the link. Jeff, if you want to paste that link in comments, I think I sent that to you earlier today. You're welcome to do that. If not, go over to Jeff's group and go ahead and you can ask that. And Jeff's got a link with a promo code for you guys. You guys can do. You can also find that on my Linktree at jonathanmast.com/Linktree. So Jeff, I appreciate you mentioning that. Our goal there is to deliver value, folks, and I want to do that. Let's go to our next comment. I use ChatGPT for homeschooling for autistic son, but leaning towards upgrading to ChatGPT-4 for better prompting. Would it be best to upgrade? What are your thoughts? So I absolutely think the upgrade is worth it on ChatGPT, Ace. You're talking $20 a month. It gives you access to GPT-4. It gives you access to what's called GPT Vision, meaning you can actually upload images and have it understand those images, even pull text. So hypothetically, let's say we wanted to grab this as a screenshot. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll show you guys how Vision works. It's so cool. So I'm going to grab this screenshot of this slide. So let's say you're watching a presentation and you're like, okay, Jonathan, how does this work? I just grabbed the screenshot. Let's go back into ChatGPT. Got to switch over here real quick. There we go. And I talked to you guys earlier about starting new chats. This is unrelated, so I'm going to start a new chat. I'm going to click on my paperclip, and I'm going to upload that screenshot that I just took. And I'm now going to ask it to please give me the text from this image. And it should, you can see there's the image. So that's the exact screenshot, but maybe I want that text, and let's see what it does here. Here we come. There you go. Just like that, guys. There, it's actually going through and grabbing the text off that image. I love ChatGPT Vision. I think it's incredibly powerful. And so I absolutely do think it's worth the upgrade in order to do that. There's other things that you get with that, including a host of things. Probably the other biggest benefit that you get, Ace, is you get access to custom GPTs, and there are thousands of them out there. You can then use that information and those custom GPTs, you can utilize that to probably provide even some better information for your homeschooling that you're doing. So I would definitely encourage you, spend the $20. I really do believe it's worth it. Again, great question, though. I appreciate that, Ace. Let's go to the next question we've got here again. Greg's asking, would you use Gemini if you were writing Google ads, or is there no real advantage over ChatGPT? if I was going to write Google ads, I'd actually write them in ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, and in Claude, and I'd pick the one that I like best, or I'd run what they call A/B testing, where I'd actually run each of those and send some of my ad clicks to the Gemini version, some to the Claude version, and some to the ChatGPT generated version of the ad. I'm a big fan when it comes to ads of doing testing and having variables. So I would probably run it 3 different ways and see which worked best. Ultimately, it depends on your business and your audience as to what's going to appeal to them the most. Each of those are 3 different engines, and so you're going to get slightly different results out of them. If you're not sure and you don't want to run 3, what I would do is I would start creating that ad copy, Greg, with one, and then I'd take that ad copy to another and ask it to optimize it. So imagine we do that in ChatGPT like we did for this Facebook ad in our demo, and then we go over to Gemini or Claude and we tell it to, again, act as an ad copywriting expert. Now, please analyze this ad and recommend changes and improvements. And you'll find that that can be a super effective trait as well. All right, we got a question here from Michael. Perplexity has the ability to change the AI model you use, including Turbo, Claude, and Mistral. That is true. So again, not being about Perplexity here, I don't want to dig into it too deep. Perplexity is in my mind, one of the fastest up and comers and has tremendous capabilities. So definitely worth learning about. Michael, thank you for pointing that out. There's a tremendous amount of value in Perplexity. If you're not using it, it's definitely something I encourage you guys to take a look at. Let's see what we got next. Michael, or Brian, I'm sorry, is asking the personality test website that I mentioned. So yeah, if you go to 16 personalities, I think it's just 16personalities.com, but if you search for that, you'll see that online, and it's a Myers-Briggs personality test. It's perfectly free. Now, they will try to sell you some upgrades, but you don't need to do that. Just go to there, take their test. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. One, it's interesting because it'll really tell you a lot about yourself that I find to be very, very accurate. But it's also then going to give you a 4-letter code of the type of personality that you are. And when you feed that into any of these AI models, each of these have reams and reams of information about those personality types. So just by giving it those 4 letters, you're going to give it almost like a book of information about who you are as a person, and it's going to help that AI model respond in a manner that is more like you. Let's see, we've got another one here. Atara, thank you. Thank you for the feedback on the additional webinars. Guys, I mean it when I say that I really want to be here to serve you guys more information. So if I talk about things like I did today with, if you want to learn more about custom GPTs, or you want to learn more about data analysis, or anything else about AI, let me know here in the comments, or let Jeff know in his group as well, and we'll collaborate and make sure that we put that together. Don, I see you here. Good to see you. I'm not sure what you're saying yes to, but I appreciate you being on. Met Don in my group. Great guy. Thank you so much. Ace has got another one. Fascinating. Love to be invited to the next live stream. Great. We will do that. By the way, guys, if you're not familiar, go to my page again at jonathanmast.com/linktree. I've got all my channels on there. If you follow those pages and you join into my group or Jeff Veal's group, we always post in those groups when I'm doing these lives. And my goal, we try to do them every other week. And I also do other lives probably once a week. So if you're interested in AI and just getting notified, we don't spend time selling to you, as you see here. I mean, I may mention my course, but it's not a hard sell. If you guys want value, our goal is to really deliver a ton of value here. Oh, great. We have the website. So Greg, thank you for putting that up for us. So those of you that were interested in that, there's the link for that. It's 16personalities.com. And then if you want to add, you can add free personality test. I know if you just go there, it would give that as well. So that's great. We got some comments here about would love the webinar on data analysis. Good. Jeff, make a note of that. When we talk about our next one, we'll do that. Brian said, thanks to Greg for putting that information up there. That's great. Steve wants to hear about custom GPTs. That's fantastic. Guys, I love these comments. Thank you for your interaction. That makes this so much more valuable. We appreciate that. Lots more about custom GPTs. We appreciate that. Guys, this is fantastic. Appreciate it. Wendy from the UK, what have you got here? Let's see. I'd like to learn about creating custom GPTs and how they talk to APIs. Oh, that's a great point, Wendy. So there's so much to talk about. If you guys aren't familiar with what Wendy refers to, Custom GPTs, they're basically just custom AI models, but they can connect to multiple different APIs or different engines. So we can actually even create custom GPTs that will connect not only to the Chat GPT engine that we showed today, but it will also connect over to other things. For example, the Claude and the Gemini and the Perplexity API. So we'll definitely do that. Thank you very much for that comment, Wendy. We appreciate it. Let's see, we've got so many more comments here. I'm just going to click on some of them, and I'm reading them live, guys, so I appreciate you being kind, so I'm not getting embarrassed. Brian, thanks for the comments about the AI group. You guys, if you're not in our AI group and you want to join that on Facebook, it's perfectly free. Just go to jonathanmast.com/linktree. I've got links right there to do that. So let's see, Ace has got another question. Good, Ace, I'm glad you did too. Guys, I mean it seriously. The lists that people try to sell you of prompts, don't buy them. It's a waste of money. I've spent a lot of money testing them out, and I got to tell you, I just bought one about a month ago. Was almost 4,000 prompts. I thought, okay, there's got to be some good in there. Well, first of all, there wasn't. Most of them were things like, write me a blog post about blank. Okay, I don't need that in a prompt. That doesn't help me out. Not to mention it's not effective. On top of that, I had to spend literally hours looking through all of them to find out it was just a bunch of garbage. Just use this prompting framework here. I know I'm biased, guys, but I tell you, if you use this prompting framework, it will work for you and you'll get amazing results and you don't have to spend any money with anybody else. So that's fantastic. More requests for other things. That's great. Guys, I appreciate all the love you're showing me. This is fantastic. I appreciate it. See, Jeff's got a question here. Can people get a one-on-one training with you and have you speak at an event? So yes, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I do that on a paid basis though, so I'm not here to promote that today. But if you go to my page, I've got information on that. If you do have events or organizations, I speak all the time. And as a general rule, I don't charge for most of that. So if you're part of a chamber of commerce, for example, and your chamber wants to have someone talk about AI, I'd love to come in and do a virtual presentation like this. If you need me there in person, then we need to talk about expenses. But if you just need virtual, in most cases, I can do that at no charge. And I'd be happy to do that. Just again, reach out to me. Jeff, thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Let's see, Greg's got a new post here a minute. I'd like to learn about custom GPT and load it with our tech support data to create a chat bot. Greg, that'd be a great use for a custom GPT and chat bot. And again, we'll make notes of all this and make sure that we add all of this for our next webinar that we've got coming up. Greg's saying he wants to learn here about text to voice. Yep, for virtual sales rep. We're coming a long way on that, especially from a texting perspective or a chat perspective. Would love to chat with you about that. And Jeff's just saying here he's going to make sure that he reminds me so we can do a course on custom GPTs. Guys, I want to thank you. You've had amazing interaction here today. Sometimes we do these and we don't get a ton. Today we've had a boatload of it. I love it. I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate you joining us. My big ask is very simple. If this is of value to you, share it with a friend. Let them see the replay. Encourage that they join our group. Again, totally free. As you saw today, we're not hard selling anything. We have some resources available, but if you don't have to pay us a penny, literally, Jeff and I want to make sure we're giving this value to you guys on a regular basis. So feel free, please join our groups, make yourself a part of our communities, get value out of that, and ask us questions. I spend literally hours a week inside the AI group answering questions for people, helping them out with prompts, and I'm happy to do that for you guys as well. We just want to thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate all the people that are here. We love the interaction. And again, I just want to remind you, if you have any desire for additional resources, just go out to my website at jonathanmast.com/linktree. Let's go ahead and put it up here one last time. There you guys go. I'll be happy to you'll see links to connect with me, links for my group. I'll get you connected with Jeff, anything that you need there. And please reach out, guys. We so cherish you guys. We appreciate your attention. We know you could be doing lots of other things, and we appreciate you chatting with us. Please let us know how we can help you. Guys, with that, we're going to sign off. Make it a fantastic day. If there's anything else that comes up, please let us know. We're here to serve you guys, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful day. And by the way, if you want to see the replay of this or share it, just check out Jeff's group, check out my group, check out my pages. You'll see that again. I know I'm a broken record, but all that information can be found at my Linktree at jonathanmast.com/Linktree. Thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic day.